up, everybody? This is 9illion. Welcome to the Broken Playground. I'll be answering some questions today. How did I come up with the name 9illion? What does it mean? Weird ass story, to be honest. So, back when I was in about grade 9, going into grade 9, I wanted to go into a beat selling market rather than being a producer. The thing with that though was I realized that by making myself a beat producer and by me trying to call myself Billion Beats was kind of putting myself into a box. The thing that an artist did around that time that I was listening to pretty heavily was Black, 6LACK. Everybody messes his name up. Every single time somebody asks, hey, well, like, what's his name? They always have to second trip and kind of look at, oh, is it Black or is it 6LACK? I need to know. And it has that mystique behind it where it's like, what? I have to check this guy out now to know how to say his name. Once you find out, you've been through enough music. So me thinking about that, I was like, oh, well, Billion has a B and he changed Black to a 6, for the B in Black. So I was like, okay, then 6illion Beats. And then I was like, I don't know, that doesn't roll off the tongue, so I just flipped it. And it had no meaning. I just said, it looks aesthetically pleasing just to flip that number. Eventually I started looking into it. There was the Toronto market. There was just so many intrinsic meanings in just flipping the 6 upside down that, it's kind of like the name kind of means what it means to you, it on every level of basis. It goes as deep as the area that I came up in and lived in my hometown. Basically, I was born in Toronto. I moved to Shelburne, and Shelburne is now turning into what they're gonna call District 9. So it worked out perfectly that way. It's kind of one of those moments where it's it happened for a reason, and I had no explanation for it. So, man. This is crazy. So, when I went to grade 9, I was very, what's the word? I was very shy. I was very reserved. I was like, don't. If you want to make friends with me, that's cool. I'm probably not even going to talk to you after. I really pushed people away and stuff like that. I only had a very certain few amount of friends. And JayTK is a whole year older than me. So it was weird because I wasn't really gliding to any kind of social out groups or anything like that in high school, because that's where we met. And yeah, it was kind of just my one friend, I'll say his name is Andrew. He linked me and him together because he always wanted to make music too, but he was like, yo, you produce music, I know a guy that's genuinely wants to rap. And I was like, oh, word, bet, okay. What was his name and stuff like that? It's his name's Jaden, you know what I mean? You gotta come out and meet him and stuff like that. I thought I was gonna do a session with him there, but we didn't even we just did the first session together just by ourselves. My friend who introduced us, we literally met each other for maybe one day, and then we just went to the studio by ourselves. And that was the start of a lot of stuff, to be honest. We were kids back then, so it was when we made our first song, it was just kind of you know what, we're gonna blow up. There's no lie about it. But damn, when I look back, that actually started a wave within our town, because I'm willing to bet before anybody's ever watched this interview, nobody knew about Shelburne. Nobody knows about Shelburne. So for us to do that in a town that kind of just doesn't have much inspiration or anything like that, it was kind of yeah, we set the precedent. You can make music on bare minimum equipment and release that on SoundCloud. Boom, you're making music. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about how me and Jaden kind of met. Everything with music always came unexplained, but it all happened for a reason. The 3 biggest pieces of advice for anybody coming up, trying to make music, trying to look for inspiration, trying to find their own sound, really trying to cultivate things, is, I'll say this, and this speaks to any artist of any kind, in my opinion. First step, I'll say, know the rules very well before you break them. There was this quote that came from Neil deGrasse Tyson in his Hot Ones review that always stuck with me. I don't know why, but it was something along the lines of know the information before you decide to distort it yourself. And that always like stuck with me, because it was just like, man, you know, music is just so, music and art in every kind of capacity is expansive. There's so many rules to art, and yet there's so many different types of art that break those rules that have been set in other ways. So yeah, in all honesty, it's a matter of, you have to truly feel the expression of what you create, even if the rules don't regulate it, because from there on in, you've identified, you have your identity within that rule-breaking measure. That's the first piece of advice. Second piece of advice I'd say is know your team. Know your team. It's always good to be able to do things your way, get everything done the way that you need it, your vision to be there whenever you need. But thing is that you can only do so much with that. You can only do so much just by yourself. And for me personally, me working with JayTK was a good example of that, because it was like, man, you know, I needed an artist. I'm not really one to kind of write my own music like that, and you know what I mean? He has that writing capability, and he knows the sounds that are trending and stuff like that. So when you put everybody's interpretation of art into one thing, it shows, and it clearly shows. So that will lead into what I'll say is the third point of music, is to try and be as embracive as you can. Try to involve as many people in your creation of creating art, even if it's like, you know, like just try not to change your vision to appeal to the masses, but try to appeal to people, because sometimes people need to hear the things that they haven't heard before. You have to go to the levels, and you have to go to the edge of you have to go to the boundaries of what's being set, and to break those rules. Really, that's all art is. It's just expressing and breaking rules. That's all it is, in my opinion. So all of the most renowned people of all time used to be the most infamous at one point in their life. And that's the key. That is the key. How did I learn music production? Self-taught. I went on to YouTube. I looked for every video that had information related to music, related anything. I just devoured wherever I could find on the internet of music creation, music whatever. Like, all of what I've learned, how I learned it was just from a place of loving music. And that's the only reason why I've come this way, like, learn everything that I know about music, is just having the love for it, really. I tried to sit down and learn piano, yo. I suck at sitting down and learning something like super, what is the word? I can't learn military style. If you're gonna sit me down and hit me with a stick just because I'm not playing the right note, then yo, I need to learn stuff out of a place of love for it, and that's what I really believe is that's what sets me apart. I make music knowing what people love about it, not knowing what makes it sound good. That's the difference. That is the main difference. So that's the area where I produce from my heart. What are 3 artists that I would love to work with in the future? All right. Number 1, I'm gonna have to say Killy. Number 1. Killy, number 1. I would love to work with that man. He just has such a different edge on music. I was listening to his Kill Streak 2 project. Some of the 808s were in stereo. I was like, bro, I have to work with this guy. Like, there's no way I can at this point. Killy, number 1. Number 2, man. Oh man, I'm gonna have to say, I'd love to work with Nav as well. Nav is number 2 for sure, and then number 3, Night Lavelle. Night Lavelle is one of my personal favorites. Yo, I want to work with Night Lavelle so fucking hard. There's just so many like moments. Red Boy is such a hard track. I grew up and I was spreading Night Lavelle's music all across like high school and stuff, being like, yo, have you heard of this guy? And they're like, I've heard of his first song, Dark Light, but I never stayed. And it's like, nah, because you don't know what good music is. You don't even put Night Lavelle in your fucking eardrum. What is your fucking problem? Straight up, man. No, those are my top 3. Killy, Nav, Night Lavelle. My biggest influences, man, Denzel Curry, JPEG Mafia, ASAP Rocky. Those are my top 3 in no specific order. But if I'm gonna have to pinpoint somebody for the production that I chase towards, it's JPEG Mafia, without a doubt. The way that man breaks every fucking rule is so beautifully crafted. I love that man's work. If there's anybody that I would want to work with, it would be that man. It would be that man. I won't care if I'm producing or if he's rapping on my track. I don't care. I don't care if he's asking me to rap on the track. I'll do whatever. But no, I would want to work with JPEG Mafia because that man just has a completely different take of music. I really respect him for that, and he just does it in such a fuck you way. It's awesome. So, yeah, man. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through for this playground conversation. My name is 9illion here. Thank you so much for coming through and staying to the end of the video. Over here is an annotation to a suggested video on the Broken Playground. I have a song coming out with Hitman coming soon, Cold and Lonely. I also have a YouTube channel that I'm trying to put some tutorials out there, so if anybody's looking to create some music, go check that out as well. I have a BeatStars page if anybody wants to see some beats as well. Appreciate everybody coming through. Leave your comments and I'll even see if I can get back to you. Still learning the cameras.